Hello, 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 and welcome to Loud Poet Slam! Oh yeah! That is what I need on a Saturday evening. It is a Saturday evening, right? Good. I know what's happening. I'm aware of things. This is lovely. It is absolutely wonderful to be here at the beautiful Beacon Arts Centre. A big round of applause for the Beacon. We were very, very pleased to get to come and be part of Meliora Festival in the summer. That was wonderful. We worked with the wonderful Katharine Macfarlane to come and do that. Big shout out to Katharine. Love to Katharine. And basically, it is a lot to do with her that we are here this evening. So I should explain a little bit. My name is Kevin. Don't worry, you will see progressively less of me as the night goes on. But I am the creative director of I Am Loud Productions that Loud Poets is a part of. And I am the host for this season of live events that we are undertaking. So normally, our regular venue has been the Scottish Storytelling Centre in Edinburgh. That's where we've been running events since 2014. Jesus, I'm old. No, it's been wonderful. This is actually our 9th birthday weekend. We're celebrating, which is... you guys are like, well, you're new here, so shut up. No, it's very cool. Not a lot of spoken word organizations make it to the ripe old age of 9, so we feel very seasoned. But no, it's wonderful. We've been running lots of sorts of events for a long, long time. And last year, we received our first ever round of Creative Scotland funding. Boy, does that make it easier. Big thank you for Creative Scotland for just saving me from going even balder. No, it's been lovely. Last year we kicked off a huge season of events where we partnered with local spoken word organisations in Aberdeen, Dundee and Dumfries to kind of expand our reach and what we were doing. And basically what we wanted to do is bring some of the pizzazz of Loud Poets, some of the production values, the bits and pieces that we do to put on a night to these sort of more local grassroots areas, to be able to bring some big name features in. Last year we had people like Tony Walsh and Joe Bell and all that up, which not a lot of local spoken word nights are able to bring those kind of folks up. So it was a huge season for us, and it worked out to being a very big success, and we thought more! And that is why we are here, because this year we got more funding from Creative Scotland. Thank you! And we expanded the season that we are doing. So not only are we returning to Aberdeen and Dumfries and Dundee, but we are adding in Inverclyde and Inverness, which is very cool. So we get to bring our shows out here to you guys. So we're bringing 2 shows this year. Later in the year, we're going to be coming along with our showcase. We're going to bring some live poets, some local voices, some feature acts to a really cool event that will mix kind of our traditional night that we do, which is a curated night with an open mic of local voices. And the idea is to try and let us hear more people from across the country, because we live in the Central Belt and we just are fucking lazy when we have that. So we kind of fall into just kind of booking the same folk, and we want to hear other voices. It was a huge thing for us last year, and a lot of those people have found their way onto our stage in Edinburgh, which has been a big, big joy. So we are going to be bringing that later in the year. But the first half of the year is devoted to the Loud Poets Slam Series 2023. Yeah. Whoop, indeed. It's very, very exciting. What we are doing is hosting 6 regional slams that will culminate in a Grand Slam final in August as part of the Edinburgh International Book Festival. You can tell I'm a spoken word poet because I think the Book Fest is posh. But no, it's very, very lovely. We worked with them last year to put on a spoken word showcase. Spoken word for those who are maybe... Actually, let's check that out. Give me a little whoop if you've been to a spoken word show before. All right. Give me a little whoop if you've never been to a spoken word show before. That's a timid whoop, but I'm willing to try. No, that's nice to see. So some people will have an idea of it. The spoken word is kind of the, not talked about red-headed stepchild of poetry, kind of kept to the side. And it's very nice to see places like the Book Fest kind of open their arms a bit to us and include us in that. And so we had a very successful spoken word showcase as part of last year's Book Festival. That was a wonderful thing to be a part of, and it encouraged them to help us with this season. So basically what's happening is we're having 6 regional heats. This is the West. You are aware of that. We will also have Central, South, North, East, bit of a theme occurring, and Highlands, which has 6 regional heats. The winner and the runner-up all qualify for the Grand Slam final, where there will be a £3,000 cash prize. And if you've spent any time in the spoken word scene, you know that's fucking mental. That just does not happen. And we are very, very proud to be able to make that happen. But it would not come together if it wasn't for people like Katharine doing so much good work in their local areas that we could partner up with and kind of piggyback onto and help try and connect up the scene and do something very cool. So I am super stoked to be here. You might be able to tell I'm a little excited, which is very cool. And we are, Slam is like a huge deal for a lot of people. Has everyone been to a poetry slam before? The people that didn't go to any spoken word, you're like, we don't know what's happening. We expected there to be books and a lectern. No, basically a slam is competitive poetry, which is dumb, really, honestly. It's a very silly endeavor. You cannot particularly judge and assign numerical value to poems. But we will try. The idea of it kicked off in Chicago. It was a way to kind of create an idea of competition to kind of draw in audiences, because you people are bloodthirsty. And if there's a competitive nature to an evening, are you intrigued? So that is what they did. They would put on these sort of slams. It drew a lot more interest, and it was also a very good way not to pay poets. And that has been a theme that has continued throughout the history of slam. And what we're trying to do is make sure that there are prizes associated to our slam. So along with the £200 prize that the winner will get this evening, there's the chance to go to the Grand Slam final, where all the competitors will be paid for their time, and the winner will get a £3,000 cash prize and become the holder of the Loud Poet Slam Championship belt. That is the respect that belt deserves. This whole project is all just so I can buy a ridiculous novelty-themed championship belt because I'm a wrestling nerd. Please don't tell Creative Scotland. Any reps in? Good. Don't give me the fear. No, so basically, yeah, that is the way it's operating. If you've never been to a slam before, the way this evening will work, that's kind of the wider project, but the way tonight will work is I think we have 10. Last count we had 10. Bogdan assures me there's 10. So we have 10 wonderful poets. We will have a round number 1 where all 10 poets will come up to the mic and they will read a poem. We have 3 glamorous judges who will assign numerical values. 6 poets will go through to the second round. 3 poets will go through to the final round. I will announce the runner-up and the winner. The winner will get to do a final poem. Nice and easy. But in the meantime, we will have lots of other things going on. I will be shouting plugs. We will have some beautiful poetry from our Sacrificial Poet. But I should introduce first our wonderful judges. Over at the table, you will have met her as you came in, is Dr. Katie Ailes. Do not take your first aid problems to her. She is a doctor of words, the least useful of the doctors. But we like her. She is a long-term Loud Poet, part of the team I Am Loud. She will be one of our judges. She has the letters after her name to say she can judge poetry. So that's why she's here. That is what they mean, Katie, yes. Pretty huge deal. Thanks for that, Jack. And our second judge, all the love in the world for her because she literally helps make this happen. Please give it up for Katharine Macfarlane! Katharine, as well as being a wonderful organizer of spoken word, working with local people in the writing groups, being a fantastic performer, also just happens to be a bit of an expert, as she is a former Scottish Slam champion. A thing that does not get shouted about enough. A tremendous performer. I've been a huge fan of hers for a very long time. Rest assured, she is qualified for the task. And our final judge, and who will also be acting as our sacrificial poet, is Bogdan Piazetsky! He is an absolutely phenomenal poet. He has been running slams for a long, long time, way back when. He is an excellent performer, host, educator, all of those wonderful things. He is also more than up to the task. Although, are you our Simon Cowell for this evening, Bogdan? No. Fuck me then, I guess. Oh, Catherine's volunteering for Simon Cowell role. Did she claim that quickly, Bogdan? Hence the, I've been told. Cool. Well, yeah, those are our 3 judges. They are going to be scoring things as we go through. They can be bribed. Feel free to buy them drinks in the interval. There's no governing body to slam poetry. There are no rules. Do as you please. Yes, they will be our 3 lovely poets and judges. Like I said, Bogdan is our sacrificial poet. What is a sacrificial poet? Well, we bring out a pyre and we burn him. No, basically it's hard with a slam to be the first person up to the mic. And so we thought we would bring Bogdan to kind of come out, warm up the mic, get some energy in the room and do all of that lovely stuff before we have to bring our first slammer up. And that brings me to a good point. Slams are difficult. You are literally being judged. It can be a very scary thing, especially if you are new to poetry, if it is your first slam, things like that. And I know some of our slammers, this is the very first time they have done that. So I need you guys not to judge them. I need you guys to give them all of the love in the world, all of the support in the world. Enjoy the poetry, enjoy the night, bring that love and energy in the room, and don't you guys worry about the scores. Is that a deal? I said, is that a deal? Fantastic. Well, I am going to run down the list of our poets. One, to make sure they're all here. This is where I become school teacher Kev. If you give me a clear and concise present, that'll be. And also to let them know the order they will be coming to the stage to. So we have Polly B. We have Gray Crosbie. Morgan Ferguson. Kirsty Heggie. John Moody. Gordon Powrie. Extra points. Oliver Robertson, Heather Still, and Lana Taylor. Those are your slammers! Is there anyone I did not announce? That was said with the tone of I'm in trouble, wasn't it? Fucking Angie's here! Of course you're here, Angie. You will be after Heather Still. I know the alphabet. Yes. Everyone just sit quietly while I amend my notes. Sorry, Angie. That was... I'm going to get beat up at the interval. This is terrifying. Yes, so those are our lovely poets. I will be kicking about, introducing them all, making sure they know when they are coming up. But yeah, all you guys need to worry about is having a bloody wonderful time. Are you ready for the Live Poet Slam? Well, then it gives me distinct pleasure to welcome our sacrificial poet tonight. I am a huge, huge fan of his. He absolutely smashed it at the Scottish Storytelling Centre last night. I know you guys are going to be blown away by him. Please give it up for Bogdan Piazetsky!
Hello. It's always great to be a sacrificial poet when you're also a judge. Because all the poets rightly are going like, all right. Let's see. No, it's all good. I get to hide in the dark and give you scores after. So yeah, my name is Bogdan Piasecki. There's a good reason for that. The reason is that I am Polish. I know bloody foreigners coming over here stealing our sacrificial poet slots. Nothing is safe. But I've lived, I'm based in Birmingham, I live in England, I've lived there for 16 years now. Both my children were born there. But I speak to them in Polish because I want, them to stay in touch with where I grew up and with my culture. And they answer in English because they're not fully convinced that I haven't made that language up. That'll do as an introduction to this poem, which is basically a series of conversations between me and my children. And the bits that you don't understand are in Polish, but you're still invited to them. Bring your own meaning. It's fine. It's okay. We'll be all right. The poem is called My Son is Crying. My son is crying. Co się stało? I ask him. And he says, my socks are ignoring my feet. Ale jak to? I want to know. And he can't really explain, so nie martw się, na pewno niedługo się pogodzą. I tell him, but it doesn't help. Choć przytulimy się. We do. And his nose is a wet mouse trying to hide behind my clavicle. I tell him, nie martw się, synku, mnie też często uwiera świat i nie wiem, kogo poprosić, żeby go wygładził, but now my daughter is crying in front of a screen. She's afraid Merida will never get her mom back. This is the first time she's cried because someone she does not know is in distress. Me, I haven't cried at a film since I got my first student ID, but I breathe in the story and try to make my lungs large enough for her. I tell her, nie martw się, na pewno wszystko się dobrze skończy, inaczej co by to była za bajka, na pewno zaraz zmieni się z powrotem, and will she really, she wants to know, will she actually? I mówię, zobacz, tak, już wstało słońce i wszystko jest dobrze, and she's laughing now, she's gone, she's forgotten, leaving me stuck in the doorway with useless inflatable lungs, and now my son is crying. He wants to know if he's going to die. Am I going to die? Am I going to die? I don't want to die. Am I going to die? And I don't want to lie to him. So I tell him, tak, ale jeszcze bardzo, bardzo długo. And he wants me to kiss death away like a scraped knee. He holds me as tight as he can and doesn't understand why it's not helping. I tell him, synku, kiedy byłem mały, chodziłem na roraty co rano ze świeczką zawiniętą w brązowy papier i w kościele świętego Michała tłumaczyli mi dobitnie, że historie takie jak nasza zawsze kończą się szczęśliwie, a teraz w panice wertuję nasze życie, szukając czegoś na kształt odpowiedzi. And now my daughter is crying because I spoke too loud and she was closer to me than I thought, and it sent her running in fear to hide back with me. Imagine it's like asking the big bad wolf to protect you from itself. So I stroke her hair and I think of home, of how my city has started dressing in black and red, and from a safe distance I watch Warsaw clench its streets and shake that crowded fist at people it doesn't know. And I swallow, but it's not my turn, and you console children by distracting them. So I tell her, opowiedz mi bajkę. I don't know any, she says. Wymyśl coś. So she smiles through the tears and begins, dawno, dawno temu byłam sobie ja. Thank you very much.
Bogdan Piazetsky! Just as a note to all of our poets, this is the mic stand. Why can't I do the... It did work for you, Bogdan. I think you broke it, Bogdan. That's why. No, it worked. Just so you know, this is the adjusty bit on the mic stand. So just, yeah, here. Because I know it can be scary, the mic stand. So lefty loosey, righty tighty. You're going to be fab. Guys, that was our Sacrificial Poet. It is time to get underway. We could not kick it off with a better poet. I'm so pleased to bring her to the stage. Go absolutely wild for your first slammer, Polly B!
Yeah, we're going to have to adjust.
Worked for her as well. Damn.
Thank you very much. Good night. This is a poem set in Paisley, so it's a bit of a local vibe, and it's called The Waitress. Jesus Christ, I'm not listening to this anymore. Her voice was like sandpaper rubbing a bee. She was livid. Our pal put her hand on her arm. Calm down, it said. Keep the heat. No, I've had enough of this, Christine. I'm done with this crap. And the apron was off right out of her head. Oh, she was fuming. Christine tried again to smooth the waters. Away in the back, Linda. Calm down a minute. She was never having it. She was raging. I'll know away in the back, Christine. I'm going home. And don't you smile at me, you smug wee shite. And she was pointing at the wee guy behind the till with a finger that was used to jabbing the air, used to making a long distance point. She was losing it. And we were all watching. Cups clattered into saucers, eyes were as wide as plates. Alive Barney, good fun this, eh? She was off again. 15 years I've worked here, son. You're in the door 2 minutes and treating me like mucking your shoe. Christine interrupts again. Linda, hen, he's not worth it. And everybody's looking. Don't air your dirty laundry in public, hen. We all held our breath. Not sure who we wanted to win. Wanting Linda to keep some dignity, but also wanting to find out what happened with the smug wee shite behind the till. Christine won. She'd hit the right nerve. Linda smoothed some imaginary wrinkles out her clays and smoothed some pride back into her hair. And she said, I'll send Bill down for my wages. I'm too old for this shite now. And out she walked. Just like that. And all our popcorn turned back into soup and toasties. And the clattering of the cafe came back too. And we were all desperate to ask Christine, what the hell was that all about? But her face was like thunder, so we thought better of it. Thank you.
Give it up for Polly V. Coming up next to the mic, Gray Crosbie.
Finally, somebody my height. Usually I'm the one that's like this. Amanda has binned the excuses. She scrubbed off the words gross and disgusting because actually she quite likes it. She likes having sex on her period. Kira does it on her lighter days only. In the shower, usually, where any traces of shame can be rinsed away and swallowed by the drain. Meanwhile, Carrie loves how her nerve endings are extra sensitive on the days that she's heaviest. Susie, too, knows the benefits, chooses to fight those cramps with orgasms instead of paracetamol, and swaps out hot water bottles for the warm press of skin. And Audrey, she's been trying to conceive for years, so takes her chances, dares to hope on that slim risk of pregnancy her teachers warned her about. Scout and her girlfriend now quite like the aftermath, how their skin is finger painted in strokes and gasp grabs their bedsheet, a canvas dashed with different shapes of womanly. As for Benny, it's his least favourite time of the month because men's toilets don't have the right kind of bins for him and pads just do not fit on boxers. Those 6 days, he struggles with himself that bit harder. But in bed, Tom, his partner, guides apart knees, string in his teeth, eases that cotton-free, unfazed enough for both of them, and loves him in all the same ways. Shay loves how she's the only one who knows that shade of red on her wife's lips, how it's shared in a kiss and smeared in the back of their fists. Meanwhile, Nina, she fucks Aisha as a fuck you because there's no taboo in her body, not when it's her blood, her stubbled legs, her curves, her body hair tangled in her fingers. They're bedding like a crime scene where misogyny was murdered. Deborah has long since given up feeling ashamed. June wants the kind of love that leaves behind stains. Lou plays it safe. They use condoms and prep. And Lynette, she doesn't like period sex, so chooses not to do it. And that is fine too. But for the third of the population who are sexually active, who apparently do, why is it that when pulses have slowed, hair flattened, clothes straightened, why is it that the passion and fun and love and just general indifference towards periods and sex while on them is so often left behind under cooling duvets or tucked away between soap bottles and sponges or lost down the side of the sofa sheet? It's blood that flushed those cheeks, blood that makes our hearts beat.
Amazing stuff, Gray. Coming now up to the mic. Keep that applause going as we welcome to the stage Morgan Ferguson. Keep that applause She's coming from the back of the room. She's gonna get it. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Morgan. This is a poem I wrote called Off Peak. It's not sponsored by ScotRail, and it's not that funny, but I think it has a good message. And the message is that women shouldn't feel alone and that their stories are important and that it's never your fault. So yeah, this is Off Peak. A peak time train or a jam-packed tube. Spending your journey on edge for fear of being rude. He's sat beside me, making conversation. He asks my age and what's my occupation. His eyes widen with fear when he realises he's old enough to be my dad. Yet he tries to reassure me that drunk men aren't all that bad. He asks where I get off. I pray it's not the same stop. Now he's touching my arm and rubbing his leg on mine. He tells me I'm beautiful, that I've got a bright future ahead. But surely he can see the worry, fear and discomfort going on inside my head. He's oblivious to my hostility, so my eyes scan the train looking for some hospitality. I glance over at the woman on her phone, but she's oblivious, and who can blame her? She just wants to get home. The coach begins to stop as we approach his destination. You should just come back to mine. His voice filled with determination. No, thank you. I want to go home. Oh, I don't know if it's wise for a young girl like you to walk alone. I'm sure I'll be fine. Moan back to mine. No. Ugh, I knew you were frigid. No, my decisions are just rigid. Finally, he leaves the train, and I'm left on the carriage wondering if I'm to blame. Maybe if I hadn't slightly engaged in conversation, would he have politely left me alone to reach my destination? Off peak. Thanks.
Powerful stuff from Morgan. Thank you very much, Morgan. Now, we welcome to the stage our very next slammer. Please go wild for Kirsty Heggie!
Freedom of expression. I had a guy on the phone last night. You might know him. His name's Adam Holmes. Anyone? You should listen to him. So we were discussing. He says, "What do you want your album to be about? Like, why are you doing this? Really, why?" And I said, "For money." I mean, I'm not going to beat about the bush. Like, I'm going to be honest about why I'm doing what I'm doing. Which you could question why I would do arts for money, but you know, it's the only thing that I do well. So I'd rather do what I will and make money. Sorry. This is called Got Milk. No one likes black coffee. If it isn't by choice, it shouldn't have to be this way, not when I can be using this voice. I mean, it's hardly as if my boat is broken, and it's hardly like I'm capsizing, but I could be bringing in the dough. I could be seriously capitalising, because I've got talent with a capital T. I've been growing in the shadows like nightshade, and now I'm ready to be married to my music instead of hanging around like a bridesmaid. I'm feeling wild, I'm feeling potent, I'm feeling psychotropic. Get ready for something you've never heard, and I'll make it sweet, hypnotic. A Scottish female rapper who's even quite well spoken. If someone like me hasn't burst into the scene where the rules are about to be broken. I'm sick of people seeing rap confined to hood. And thug life is a story whether good or bad, and life can be a fucked up life. It all goes down in someone's history and it all slips off the tongue. I'm not going to keep my secrets, no, I feel too old, I feel too young. Why is everybody living life scared to overshare? If you're telling me I'm oversharing because I lay my life bare, Well, tell me what kind of art you like, and tell me again why you like it. It doesn't appeal to you because it's distant and cold, not lets you get right up inside it. So call me an exhibition. At least I have something I've got to exhibit. And if you don't like what you hear and see, well, there's a door, and thanks for your visit. Artistically, I can do as I please, and yeah, my mixed styles might be confusing. I'm trying to build a fan base, and when drawn with my fans asking which style I'm choosing, who says you have to choose? I'm a chameleon soul, and I wear it proudly, but I change to blend in with myself instead of everyone around me. I've avoided consistency in my work, and yeah, I know it's not been a smooth ride, but then again, it has been a smooth ride. Nomadic lifestyle, open minds. I've been open in mind since my first suicide, realising each time I love living. Some say I use and I take what I need, but without second thought, I keep giving. I've given my tunes to the weary and the desperate and the people in need of a song. I've given my light to those in the darkness because I've been in the dark so goddamn long, and now I've gone through a cycle. I want the light and I'd like some success. I've done my time falling off the grid, and I've mastered being a hot little mess. I want a sweet Mercedes van and a wardrobe of velvet and silk. I want to go into the fridge and never not have any fucking milk. I don't want to be tapping money off you. I want you to be able to tap off of me, and I want to be bringing milk to anyone that's living on black coffee. Thanks.
Make some noise for Kirsty Heggie! And coming next to the stage, keep that applause going, build it up even louder as we welcome John Moody! You're going for a yes for the mic, you have it in you.
Just the right height. And gosh, that came on quick. Let's talk about names. And the title of this poem is The Naming of Fossils. And when I say that title, I'd ask you not to look too closely at me. I turn 70 next month. The naming of fossils. Naming fossils is no semantic matter for this bone-collecting trendsetter. One he can't mansplain in off-duty games. Like a cat, a fossil has 3 different names. Firstly, a number of where she was found, tagging geolocation in hot, arid ground. Caress her with brushes, poke her with chisels, write her up carefully in paleo journals. Then there's her scientific name, to proclaim his scholarly fame. A name he announces in astute arenas, slick in his blue safari suit. Names that may end in afarensis, Neanderthal, even Floresiensis, or 6-syllable Australopithecus. Count them, Australopithecus. It's only a name he invents to impress us. But the name no human ever discovers is the name a fossil had from her mother. Profound meditation, contemplation of other, never measures my fame, my fossil's ineffable, original name. Thank you.
Show some love to John Moody! Next up at the mic, we have the one and only Bogdan Powrie! Works for everyone but me.
This is a public safety announcement about the dangers of drugs. Listen up, kids, because this is the voice of experience. I knew these guys back in the day, the gas supply by the mum of a mate, and let me say, she was no pleased when she came to make me discover our living room redecorated in a warm arterial spray. Wait, sorry, I got ahead of myself. Back to the start. We parked ourselves at my mate's mum's place one day, and my mate's mate produces a wee bag of the green stuff. Now, John and Craig, they seemed dead keen, but no me, because I'd seen that scene on screen about how your brain on drugs becomes pure edible and egg-like, and fella, I don't need that stress in my life. So there's no changing what I said when they dragged me to jail. I swear, I did not inhale. Despite keeping my lungs well clear, I was still sensing an intense miasma in the atmosphere, so I tore my eyes away from my 16th view in a Cape Fear to see Big John. "You're next," he drones, holding out the smoke, expecting me to take a toke while I'm trying to understand blood-stained hands, chest, arms and throat. He's covered, man. He's pure caked in this red, sticky mess. I must have been so intensely focused on Robert De Niro's quest for revenge that I somehow missed Big John getting covered in red. "Is that blood, mate?" "Aye, got a bit munchy, so I ate Craig." "Sake, mate. What's his mum going to say?" Now I ask you, how do you verbally chew through an actual cannibal who's high on tetrahydrocannabals? I mean, I suppose it depends how intensely they intend to assuage the cravings caused by their low glycemic index state, but let me put it this way. If you think you can trust an actual cannibal to keep their cravings at bay and abstain from amylase-specific lysis of your face, then good luck to you, mate, but I don't take chances. Good thing I don't do drugs. Clear-headed, with an unblemished consciousness, I did what George A. Romero wanted of us, and I went for the brain. Big John toppled and spun with the red stuff just pumping out of him, and weirdly I thought about all the blood on the kitchen floor of Robert Redford's houseboat, and looking at Big John, I now wondered if in fact Scorsese hadn't underplayed it a bit. And yet no real time to dwell on it, because in comes Craig's mum. Well, as you can imagine, the local constabulary were quickly dispatched and they made short work of nabbing me, but let me assure you folks, I told them everything. I told them about the cannabis and the cannibalism and Juliette Lewis's nomination for the Best Supporting Actress in it. They said it was obvious drugs were the cause of this violent cannibal uprising and it ended with my survival, but Big John's brains bashed in and Craig's chest gaped open, exposing his lungs. Another case of the devil's crop, morally corrupting the young. Diminished responsibility successfully played. They only charged me as a simple accessory to cannibalistic gluttony, with this PSA mandated as part of my path to leniency. My sentence commuted to be speaking to you about public decency and the dangers of THC, because I know some of you think it's harmless, but I can tell you from experience it's not. Cannabis is a gateway drug that inevitably ends in cannibalism. Don't be a dope, just say no.
Give it up for Gordon Powrie! And keep the love going, keep that energy building as we welcome to the stage Oliver Robertson!
Charcoal, timber boots, volley gravel up and down a path, stains strewn like shrapnel across a green. What's up with you, weein', amidst the embers of a stranger's Mayfair? It's my granny's wake. Oh aye, moan in for a cup of tea, I reluctantly agree, lead head fixed to the ground, waddling in, school trousers busting at the seams, a summer of street cheese, nearing them obsolete. Through the PVC, double doors, noise arise like a tide, and I'm stunned, shocked at the shore as waves of whiskey and pint glasses clink and collide, frequently toasting to what a woman our Betty was. A seat opens up next to the cool older cousin, and I paddle my way through the bowling club's hall like a dog in a pond, when a vulture, emigrating for the buffet table, carves up my seat, and the only carcass which remains is one next to my granny's brother, who can't refrain from giving me another life lecture. My head's declined towards the varnished floorboards as too many nods in agreement to questionable views has made my neck weak. I recline my fifth cup of tea of the day and belt out Kate Nash foundations at my lowest possible frequency. And my fingertips are holding onto the last cheese sandwich. A sausage rolls are much preferred by mourners. All the other sandwiches have turned stale, and I don't like anything else. I wish I could just see my gran. I said my fingertips are Walter's back, Strachan's had his whack, Glasgow's hosting the Commonwealth, and SIBO reverberates the mahogany walls, and it's time for my exit. I grabbed my tagged M&S blazer and smashed through those double doors like a shock election win when my ma, needing a top up of nicotine, caught me. Put on a brave face, son. For me. Slumped, floppy-headed, back at the table. How can these cylinders of sunshine transform grievers into believers? Believers of a family occasion, and we should all do something soon. Another nod in agreement as I watched those bubbles rise to the top, and on its foamy head indensed its spell. Never let a death ruin a good funeral. It's what your granny would have wanted. Cheers.
Make some noise for Oliver Robertson! Coming to the stage right now, we have Heather Still! Heather Still!
Hello, everyone. Just bear with me. It's inherited. Finally, I have something to blame. I don't like it though, like genetics. You know the argument. It's simplistic, deterministic, and I spit it out like sour sweets. I cry it out amongst bed sheets. I had this ambiguity of who, what, why caused my disability, kept me crippled, kept me going, and I'm owing to this absence. It was an explanational silence. It was a black hole. But I filled it with my reasoning. Reason being that there was no explanation for my situation. You know, this happens, shit happens, and I happen to say okay because it couldn't have happened to me any other way. But today, they say that I am predetermined. As if I was to have this burden forced onto my infant hands. Pacemakers are plugged into my body like I am some sort of technological kit. I'm carved open first, second, third, fourth, fifth times to stop me getting sick, so I become the patient, the subject. I become the it. I lost my identity behind those hospital walls. I was a medical marvel free-for-all, and that is to be expected of me. Shrug shoulders because now I'm older. I finally have something to blame. Well, nah. My heart is not worse than the hearts you house. And what I found is that humans, all of us were, sometimes we will always try and find blame when there was never any to begin with in the first place. Thank you.
Make some noise for Heather Still! That's right, give it up! We have come to our penultimate poet in the first round, the absolutely unforgettable Angie Strachan!
You have 2 left feet, and I have no sense of direction. I like to dance, and you like orienteering. I read poetry, and you read maps. It's true that opposites attract. You moan that I put baked beans in your bolognese. Your snoring keeps me sleep deprived for days. I know I have messy and untidy ways. Leave my underwear on the floor of the bathroom, but nothing I do could compare with your farting. Yet here we are. Still married after 20 years, smooching to tunes in our living room. And while our children sleep, we're cheek to cheek dancing like no one is watching. And music connects us. I know you still fancy Charlene Spiteri from Texas when I lust over Mozart and Jimi Hendrix. I like blues, soul, rock and roll, hip hop, folk and funk. You like big guitars and punk. Over the years, we've had differing views. Now we share a love of the tunes that we both choose. When depression chose me, when the walls were caving in, I'd paper up the cracks, carry the weight of bricks in my back, lied about being okay. When I hated myself, you told me you'd love me in sickness and in health. When my soul was a sorrowful song, you bought me shades of Al Green for blues days. Let's stay together, you say. And I know that everybody hurts. My depression made you cry sometimes. And in those moments when I couldn't bear to choose life, I told you in these arms of mine, and hold on, and choose life, this life, our life, husband and wife, sharing the love of the music we have, whether our tunes are good or bad, happy or sad.
Give it up for Angie Strachan and get all the applause out. Build it up real loud for our final slammer this round, Lana Taylor!
Hi, I just want to make sure I'm close enough to this first off. So I guess this is about, I'm only 21, so my whole life has been about social media and what I'm supposed to look like and what I'm expected to look like, basically by myself. I don't even need anybody else's opinion on it. But it's kind of right about that, so we've all been there, done that. The fear when your pants don't fit quite right and skinny's back in fashion, but when you were bigger, you were never really in style. See, they want fat with a PH, not fat with an F, which is really weird. Perfect fat is boob fat, butt fat, not tummy fat or back fat. I don't know what the difference is. But yeah, it's a thing. Give me a second, that'll come right back to me. A blemish is a breakout, makeup is lying, and my confidence is ruined when I don't quite catch your eye. See, I could spend hours on this, hair care, skin care, a booty workout for the gods, but gods were never perfect, were they? No, these immortal beings had flaws that were accepted, so why aren't mine? Is it because my name isn't Aphrodite? Then I apologise, but we can't all be the same, and the one thing I will never be is a copycat. I can't fake tan, get balayage in my hair, neon nails, lip fillers look perfect on you, but I am not you, and it sucks to hear, but you just are not her. You say they used to paint women as beautiful as me, but not anymore, not since I was born. Now it's Photoshop models who I am not. It's constant competition. I'll never be that hot. These thoughts race in a daily basis. It's getting tiring, but social media is a beacon. See, I was born in 2001 when an individual was ruined already with the beauty standards. Now it's 2023. Love thyself, but only if you eat kale, don't have cake, that's greedy. Only if you meet a specific image. Society, you don't ask for much, but I'm only young, so I'll bite and give you what you want.
Make some noise for Lana Taylor! What a way to finish off the first round. Can we get a big round of applause for all of our slammers? What a way to kick off our first heat. That is just a stellar start. That is a good omen for this year to come. Thank you so much for being here to kick off the first one. What we are going to do is jump into a little break. But before that, just a couple quick things to plug. Over with the wonderful Katie, we have a mailing list sign up if you are interested in spoken word. One of the I Am Loud team, Beck Sherwood, every month they put out a sort of mailing list thing from our account where they round up all the events going on in the UK, spoken word events. It is a huge endeavour that they undertake every month to try and just make people aware of spoken word wherever they are. So if you want to check that out, it would mean a lot to us if you sign up. It would help you follow along with the rest of the Slam series. We also have a book, Loud Poets. We just, the other week there, released our first ever anthology. Spoken word poets on paper, who knew? But yes, they forced me into it, and now we have a book. So if you would like to pick up a copy, Katie put a huge amount of work into editing and taking the rantings of these insane spoken word poets and making them actual poems in a lovely book. So go and reward her tireless efforts. But yeah, it would mean a lot to check those things out. If you enjoyed a poet, go and tell them you like their stuff. There is nothing that fuels poets more than validation. Tasty validation. So yeah, please do that. Go and grab a drink, all that stuff. I would just ask the poets to just stick back a wee second. We're going to get a photo with all of the poets and the judges and stuff with the lovely Jack. So if you could do that. What time is it? This is professional as 8:22, said the little voice in my brain. So let's be back by 1:45, and we will kick off the second half then. Go grab a drink, and we will see you then. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the second half of Loud Poets. Oh, run, Catherine, run. Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming back. That must have means we've done something right. Well done, well done. No one's escaped. Maybe they've locked the doors. I'm not sure how it works here at the Beacon, but either way, you're here, and that's what counts. Guys, that was an incredible first half of a slam. What a first round. Honestly, I'm so pleased. Like I said, we are filming all of these for posterity, so it's extra special good when these are all awesome. That is very helpful for us. So yeah, that was really stellar. Like I said with slams previously, I was saying they are totally arbitrary. It's about, that specific night, that specific order, those specific judges. It is so variable. So if you have not made it through to the second round, please do not feel bad. That was genuinely really, really high caliber for slam. So you all did amazing. I know from looking at the scores, there are 0.5s between people. So it is just one of those things. But what I'm going to do is read out the 6 poets who are through to the second round, because all the poets right now are sitting going, shut up! So I will read out who's through. And then we will get into Bogdan. Silence, Bogdan! It's a special weekend when you come up to gig with the Loud Poets, isn't it? We will enjoy a 15-minute set from our beautiful Sacrificial Poet, who is never coming back to Scotland, Bogdan Piasecki. We will be accompanied by the beautiful Jack Hinks for a little bit of it. So we will get into that in a wee second. But, like I said, because the poets will be angry, I will read out the 6 names. Going through to the second round, and they will be performing in this order, it is the reverse order of the first round, will be Angie Strachan, Heather Still, Oliver Robertson, Gordon Powrie, Gray Crosbie, and Polly B. Those are our 6 second rounders. Can we get a big round of applause for all of our slammers from the first round? Genuinely, I really do mean it. It is so tiny margins. All of the judges complained to me in the half about how difficult that was to score. Everyone did really amazing. So yeah, please do not be discouraged. Continue to gig and slam and all that good stuff, because this was awesome. I'll just stop fiddling with it. This mic stand hates me. But yes, what we're going to do is jump into Bogdan. I don't know what I was... My brain is broken at this point. Freud would have a field day, yeah. But what we're going to do in the third round, so when we get to that point, after the second round, when we move to the third round, all of our poets will be accompanied by a musician, which is terrifying for those that have not worked before with a musician. But it's a big part of what we do at Loud Poets. We've always worked with music. We like to kind of blend those two things, not the whole thing, but like these little punctuation points of beautiful music. And for a very long time, we have worked with our resident loud musician, who does a wonderful job of accompanying, enhancing the poetry that people are delivering without trying to overwhelm it and without making the music the focal point of it. He is an incredibly talented musician in his own right, as well as being part of Loud Poets. Please go wild for Jack Hinks! Jack is moonlighting as a photographer this evening as well, because the arts industry is hard. But yes, so we thought it would be good for all of our poets to get to see someone do that before they have to do it in the third round. So for one of Bogdan's pieces, he will be accompanied by Jack on for 2. Making him earn his money, Bogdan. I like it. 2 pieces he'll be accompanied by Jack. So please help me welcome back to the stage our wonderful sacrificial poet, Bogdan Piazetsky!
Thank you. I'm still like all the verbs you used about what's about to happen to me are still echoing in my head. Doing words, making words do things. So I come from Poland. That we established that. I learned a lot of my English from Penguin Classics before I moved. because they cost £1. But that meant I had the wrong set of expectations when I did move. And, you know, I thought that the answer to do you want some sauce with your chips, mate, was, you spoil me with your selection of condiments. Kind sir. But I moved to Coventry first. So I revised my expectations very quickly. But there are ways that, you know, I've been in the UK for 16 years. I've largely integrated society. If anyone's here from the Home Office, let me stay. Let me stay, please. But there are ways in which I still struggle, and that will be a way into this poem. And for this poem, we'll hear from Jack, just like Kev said. Are we going to do the 3 words? Do you want 3 words? 3 words for the second one. This one, you know, this one is actually like, I don't know, it's poetry geeky stuff. The form of the poem is actually still sung. Don't worry, I won't sing. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's called I Live Here. I live here, but I'm still not quite fluent in rain. Locals think in their own weather, their minds deciding shine or rain. As a child stuck in a backseat car, pushing the road back, I'd watch raindrops race crooked like upside down rain. And my children know snow, only from picture books. Look, Daddy, look, it's cloud dandruff, slow rain. Me, I try to write. The night is late, like a period, and nothing seems to want to be born in this rain, and nothing lasts long. Moss grows in my yard. I swore I would clean them, my drains flood in the rain. And sometimes it just hangs there. It's not air and not water. Walk through it. Watch your body print its shape on the rain. And sometimes it's from a clear sky. Annoying miracle. Strange wonder I hide from under strange roofs. Bright rain, and I know that I am stalling. Holding out my hand like I don't know what the clouds mean. Just checking for rain. But I met you in sunlight. As soon as we turned the corner, we were 40 and worried, running home in the rain. And it will fall. It will fall. There is nothing to do. Shout at clouds all you want. They will answer in rain, so let them break white like bones. Bogdan, watch the tarmac sizzle. Let reflections guide you. You just dance in the rain. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I don't know if any of you, we'll continue on this integration theme, I think. I don't know why I chose it, but we'll roll with it. I don't know if any of you has ever seen a book called Life in the UK, a manual, which you have to study if you're going to apply for citizenship. I have never applied for citizenship. I've still looked at it. It's a very strange book. Starting from the fact that it's printed in like a typeface that's slightly larger than it needs to be. So it makes you feel like someone is talking to you slightly louder than they have to. And it's just a random selection of facts. And you're supposed to then like pass a multiple choice test about them, but it really is like, this is Margaret Thatcher, this is Ben Nevis, pub close at 11, good luck. You think I'm exaggerating, I'm not. All I can say, if you know anybody who's going to pass this test, if in the multiple choice answers, one of them is ever Henry VIII, it is always the correct answer. But I, for a project, got to interview dozens and dozens, if not more, European migrants, and we spoke. They all were either applying for citizenship or for settled status and trying to keep the lives that they were living here. And they spoke a lot about all the ways in which they felt connected to their new home that you can't put on the form. And so this is a poem that kind of brings them all together, and it's called The Process. These next couple of poems will be a cappella, and then don't worry, Jack will come back. A cappella. Shut up, Bogdan. Just do the poems. The Process. Do not worry. Everything will be fine. We are here to guide you through the process. We remind you that dreams do not constitute acceptable evidence. That bench in the park where you cried and a child brought you a dog to pet does not constitute proof of address. The bouquet that your neighbor brought the morning after stifting apologies between the stems, that's in the wrong format, cannot be uploaded as an attachment. But do not worry. Everything will be fine. It will be fine. We just need hard evidence. So keep to yourself your comprehensive lexicon of rain, your growing ability to spot differences between terrace houses, your acceptance of separate hot and cold water taps, your willingness to laugh at references to EastEnders even though you still have not seen a single episode, your research degree in passive aggression, your surreptitious shift to the noon lunch, your recognition of the correlation between friendship and rudeness, your resignation to wall-to-wall carpeting, your mispronounced erudition, your store-fresh football kit, your half-learned chants, and your surrender to Boots and Greggs and Paddy Power, Sports Direct and cash converters, cancel estates and country estates, desaturated childhood friends, your children answering in English and your own tongue feeling like the clothes you wore in the 90s. What were you thinking? Don't worry. Everything will be fine. It will be fine. We just need you to remember that you have come here. And we know what this means. Every arrival is a conquest. Just look at our past. So you have taken something from us, and we would like it back, please. Now, please. Whatever it is, please, it will make us great again. Help us turn over the years again, pull our landscape over our ears and nestle in, because it's cold. Thank you. Thank you. So this poem was written for a project that was put together by Will Pound, who's an amazing harmonica player, folk musician, harmonica player. The project is called A Day Will Come. We toured it, we made an album, it's on Spotify, you can check it out if you're into folk music or want to hear this poem again. It kind of Will did it as a reaction to Brexit. He kind of traveled around, brought tunes together from different European countries to show the connection and so on, and he invited me to write some poems for it because I'm Polish. And Brexit is my Black History Month. And it's called A Day Will Come, because he took it from a speech by the French writer Victor Hugo, who in the 19th century wrote about how nations are outdated and soon we will realize that they're arbitrary and we will get rid of borders and divisions and recognize that we're all siblings and live together and kind of make great progress for fun and profit. And he wrote it in the 19th century, and I'm sure that any minute now it's coming. And at one point Will said, well, so you should write a poem, Bogdan, that's like your take on this, a happy, optimistic poem. And I was like, have you met me? Have you heard of Poland? We don't do happy. These are the colors of the Polish rainbow. But I tried. So this is this is as close as you're gonna get to a cheerful poem from me, which is called "The Day Will Come." I really tried. It goes like this. Try as I might, I can't keep joy away. Not every night, but on some nights I will walk out just after sunset into this green and plum gradient and Persia road, all warm concrete and lilac blooms and buses, bass against the counterpoint of languages I do not speak. I see the point. Not every night, but on some nights I'll slow down as the headlights strobe. Breathe out the fight and breathe in the hope. Find my way home, following crumbs. Not every night, but on some nights I will again believe the tale sweet on my lips, you know the one. A night will fall and linger some. And after that, a day will come. Thank you. So it's always amazing to work with musicians, and we'll do another poem with Jack in a second. But this, working with Will and the crew of virtuoso folk musicians was kind of gave me whiplash, because they were all incredibly talented and generously kind of made space for the spoken word in the music and kind of uplifted it, like you've heard Will do, Jack do, and kind of held my words. But then as soon as the poem stopped and the last kind of sustained note rang out, it would be like just a new vibe for me. Can I get away with saying vibe? Answers and postcards. So I'll do one final poem, and then we'll hear more from the amazing slammers. Thank you very much, by the way, for all your poetry. It's been fantastic. I look forward to hearing more. I don't have a funny introduction for this one. This is kind of a poem that is very Polish, in the kind of we're realizing the consequences of starting your country between Germany and Russia, kind of Polish. It comes with its own set, but it's not long. Like a couple of weeks ago was the anniversary of my grandmother's death, and so I'll leave you with this cheerful poem in her memory, and it's called Almost Certainly. So, Jack, 3 words. We'll go explosion, detail, escalation. Enjoy. Almost Certainly, it's called. Thank you for listening. It's almost certainly impossible to appreciate the beauty of an explosion. But I like to think of it as an intricate game of pinball with a single atom propelled forward and bouncing through the gaps in what we see as a solid thing, like a grain of gunpowder, say, until suddenly, multiple, with a flash of many-colored lights, all the others come alive, and then things become too fast to follow as they turn nervous and twitchy, and as they twist and tumble together, they leave behind them trails of searing light and weave them into the shape of a flower. You can only see bloom once. And it's almost certainly unbearable to try and hear the music in the noise of an explosion. But I like to think of it as that moment in a song when the bass line finally kicks in After the introductory clicks and clacks of the drumsticks smack the edge of the snare and the closed hi-hat, and yeah, we've all heard far too many songs not to know what's coming, but still, when the muffled chords explode, triggered by the kick drum, they reach through your throat and down to your stomach. You can never be ready for this. And it's almost certainly immaterial what the weather was like at the time of an explosion, but in my mind, I see a sepia snapshot of a perfect summer afternoon. With the weather all the better, because you have to imagine your own blue for the sky, your own white for the clouds, your own red for the bricks, your own brown for those strange stains on the pavement, and there are no people in this picture. The exposure was too long, so just here and there, a hand that lingered on a doorknob, or a hesitating foot, just a hint of presence, but no more. And it's almost certainly irrelevant, just one life lost in an explosion. But I like to believe that someone, somewhere, refuses to acknowledge numbers like 200,000 or 85%. And instead, they chronicle meticulously the pattern of displaced cobblestones, the frantic flight of startled birds, the words still legible on letters spilling from a leather bag, and the balletic grace of a body flying slowly through the air and trailing blood like an afterthought on this perfect summer afternoon. And they will know that she was 29, that she hadn't seen her two sons for a week, that she woke up lightheaded that day, believing against all evidence that this time things will work themselves out. And I like to believe that just before the shrapnel hit, she stopped for a moment, with her hand on the doorknob, balancing on one foot, thinking she had just heard the beginning of a song. Thank you.
Phenomenal stuff, phenomenal stuff. Thank you. Why can't I do this? What's wrong with me? I'm going to make eye contact with you the whole time, Bogdan. He's going to jump in you. Watch out. I know what's happening here. Being made to look a fool. Thank you so much, Bogdan and Jack. Beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff. We are going to jump into our second round. Jack, you can chill if you want it for a little bit. But that gives you a bit of a taste by what we mean, where we sort of add that music and poetry together. Sometimes you get something pretty spectacular. That was blown away. Thank you so much, guys. But for now, we jump into our second round. I have read off all of the poets. Guys, are you ready for the second round of the slam? Then let's fuck around no longer. Let's bring up our first slammer. Please go absolutely wild for Angie Strachan!
I remember that day when we went on our first date to the beach. Romantic walk, holding hands, drawing love hearts in the sand. I knew you would get an erection because I wore my posh Wellingtons for this special occasion. And as the moon controls the tide, I felt your heart pull to my side. We had a cuddle, shared a flask of Bovril, the waves washed up a driftwood of used condoms, sanitary towels and human shite as we cuddled next to the sewage pipe. And floating in the wind through the cry of gulls was a discarded crisp bag. Ducking and diving in a bird-like grace, it hit my face. I released my hat and shook my hair in slow motion like that woman for the shampoo adverts, because you're worth it. You wrapped your arms tightly round my back. It was so cold, it made my nipples stick out through a padded bra, an iron-knit jumper and an anorak. You looked at me through your soggy eyebrows, wiped a rogue snotter from my nose and said, Angie, do you fancy a fish supper? I winced because my mascara had run. I looked like Alice Cooper. I said, I'm on a diet, so can we share it? There was something lovely about that cold, wet Ayrshire day, salt air-chapped lips feeding each other chips, wind-nipped cheeks a rosy glow, the heat from a fish supper steaming up the windows, licking the vinegar off of each other's finger, listening to the radio as the rain pelted off the roof of your Volvo. I looked at you. You looked at me, who looked out to the sea. And that's when I realised that seagulls are bams. Big, flat feet like paddles in the bonnet of the car, yellow, bleedy eyes and a satanic stare was a seagull the size of a pterodactyl, squawking to all his seagull pals, chips, 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 chips. And from coast to coast, a swarm of rats with wings come spitfiring in, circle in the car in a galley-skull strut, bamming us up. And you shouted with passion in a masculine fashion, beat it, you big stoter, don't you dare shite in my brand new motor. I saw red, kill the beaky birdie, kill him dead. You put the car into reverse. There was a dunt, fists full of feathers, got stuck to the tyres. You killed the seagull and all his pals, his mother, his gay lover, great big seagulls lying flat. I often regret telling you to do that. The car park plastered with the Ayrshire Seagull Massacre. I often think about that day. And I think about love and chips and seagulls and how they deserve to live in this earth as the rest of us. Because they bring the seaside a certain charm, although seagulls are bams.
Give it up for Angie Strachan! And please help me welcome to the stage, Heather Still!
Hello again. This poem is called Settling. And when the dust settles, do we settle too? Do we become dust on the tabletop? Oh, are we part of the furniture? En route to IKEA for storage saving and money saving and savings accounts and accountability for our actions. I mean, I can't be staring at that woman in the coffee shop anymore. Coffee, hun. We need coffee. We need a car. A 2-seater, 4-seater. I think we need some space. We need some space. I need some space from this. Oh. What are we doing? You say that we're ready for a humble abode and to mumble regrets under our breaths, for our bodies to be separated in the summer heat. But see, this stability that you provide, it's new to me. Just as you're afraid of my dial-up intensity, it makes you want to run away from me. I hug the unknown. I know. But look, you can join me, and that can become an embrace. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to be okay. Thank you.
Wonderful stuff from Heather Still. Next up to the mic we have Oliver Robertson.
Andy is working for him on a scorching sunny day. Backcourt chat smur, he opens the window and lets these conversations breeze in. He hears an unfamiliar accent saying, "Oh, I want to divide my time between Scotland and Spain." The next day, he notices an Aberdeen and Considine sign down the bottom of his street. He was out a walk around his local neighbourhood. There used to be a hospital here. Now the grass grows through the rubble, and the dogs roam and claim their territory on the few bricks that remain. He notices a wooden object, approaches. Levi's rustle heavy grass, and through the marsh, a book swap hut appears. He looks for a needle amongst haystacks of autobiography, to find an Ottolenghi cookbook. He flicks through the elaborate ingredients list before sandwiching it between Clarkson and Giggs. On his way home, he notices the second Aberdeen and Considine sign opposite the flat he resides. Andy was on the hunt for the saviour of an egg and tortoise scone doubler, but Bank Holiday Sunday queues did not materialise. Instead, he shuddered at the pulled down metallic shutters with "To lease development opportunity" plastered upon it, and the culprit left behind an Aberdeen and Considine signature in the bottom corner. Fourth time he noticed an Aberdeen and Considine sign was preceded by a flat inspection. He asked why. A routine evaluation. Oh, the market has changed since it was last done. He let the estate agent in, who flopped his laser pen from wall to wall and paparazzi snapped half-tidied living rooms before asking if the back door was open. Later that week, he returned home from work, fell through the door through his pocketed possessions on his breakfast bar, which his landlord insisted was a selling point worth paying for, and before he could become one with couch, he noticed a letter hugging the carpet face down. He opened it up, and in big black-headed letters it read, "Eviction notice." He retraced his steps like a near-death experience, and sure enough, an Aberdeen and Considine sign was above his close door. He moved back in with the folks, itching to flee the nest again. Right move alerted to a place that looked awfully familiar. Bath Gate Street offers above 150. He hopes the next place he moves to, he's far away from any Aberdeen and Considine signs. Thank you.
Make some noise for Oliver Robertson! And please keep that applause going. Build it up even louder as we welcome back to the stage Gordon Powrie!
Gentlemen, get a vasectomy. See, I made the choice some years ago to stop procreating. I said my sperm must go. And when I told my wife, I thought it might have shocked her, but turned out she'd already booked the doctor. So off I went to the family doc, trusting they wouldn't laugh at my nervousness. They said they'll lake and they'll throb. I've heard it's quite sore, and besides you don't know if you might want some more. What if there's a tragedy or you wake up one day with an urge for another? What then will you say? I said, honestly, doc, I don't think such an urge is reason enough to keep life in my splurge. And as for replacements, I've already got 2, and that's quite sufficient, thank you. So then I met with the surgeon on June 24, where they asked me again if I really was sure. I confirmed that I was, and they said, fair enough, hop up on the bench and show us your stuff. They said some don't flinch. Most are quite stoic, but while cupped in their hand, I felt less than heroic. They gave me a squeeze, and this is a wee bit pathetic, but I squealed like a pig, so they prescribed anaesthetic, and when the day finally came to go under the knife, they just made it a general and knocked out my lights. When I woke, there was pain, I'm not going to lie. Every move that I made me want to cry. There was bruising and swelling and increase in size. Quickly crossing my legs brought real tears to my eyes, and all the while convalescing at home. My wife grinned and sniggered at each wince and each moan. Her gloating I found somewhat less than attractive, but it was actually helpful in keeping me inactive. See, the advice from the doctor I had to retain was that for 1 month I had to abstain. Now, that might not sound bad, just superfluous greats, but be sure it includes cleaning the pipes. I lasted 2 weeks. It was all I could do. See, no one had told me, they neglected to mention, what I'd face at the end of this period of retention. The clotting of blood in my ejaculation was oddly absent from the FAC information. As was bruising and swelling and throbbing and itches and blood in your pants when you scratch at the stitches. But I'm not complaining, because I asked for the not. I'll take Satan's effluent over another cot. I feel quite bad, because family planning with your other half is worth maybe a wee bit more than just cheap, crass laughs. Think of implants, coils, hormone pills, surgical procedures known to kill, compared to the risks for your girlfriend or wife. A vasectomy's safe and it'll last your whole life. It's worth all the pain and other such antics. Monogamous gents need no more prophylactics, so gentlemen, get a vasectomy.
Give it up for Gordon Powrie! our penultimate poet in the second round. Welcome back to the stage, Gray Crosbie.
So, it's Valentine's Day 2016, and this year she served me breakup in bed. She said we were over, and not much else, just that she'd let me lie in while she gathered her things, and now she was leaving, and then she just went and left me here thinking, I'm not that bothered. I'm not that bothered that she left wearing my favourite jumper, or that she took the TV with her and the microwave and the toaster and the fucking toilet roll holder. I'm really not that bothered. I just want to know why. Why would she take my last pack of jammy Dodgers? Because now I'm all alone, imagining that right now she's enjoying sinking her teeth into that raspberry filling and tearing those tiny hearts apart in her car, full of her stuff, probably wearing my favourite jumper, the one she wore that time in Berlin when she proposed in the snow. And it's not that I'm bothered, it's just memories are now crumbling into this morning. I get dressed and head for Tesco, since someone took the last of my favourite biscuit. And now I can't have them. They seem to be all that I want. I march straight through the store and ignore the people who are staring as though they can already sense the loneliness growing between the creases in my clothing. And it's not that I'm bothered. I now just really need a jammy Dodger. But thank God, the wait is finally over as I reach the biscuit rows of aisle 12. I grab a packet off the shelf, tear it open then and there, and hold my jammy triumph in the air. And it's then that I see it. Those words on the wrapping boasting a new and improved recipe. Now, one of the things she did leave me is vegan. She converted me, not forcefully, but in a proper life-changing way with facts and foods and documentaries. And since then, I have learned that new and improved recipes can be cause for celebration if they remove the dairy and the egg and the product is now vegan. Or new and improved can mean they have fucked with something that should not have been touched, something beautiful and accidentally vegan like this biscuit that I'm holding. So I scan the ingredients, which confirms my suspicions, nestled between sugar and gluten. Why today? The vegan alternatives are already so limited and other confectionaries just will not cut it. Because while I love a good digestive, it is just not a substantial enough biscuit for heartbreak. Not that I'm bothered, but fuck you, Burton Biscuits, you bastards! And I crush that traitor Jammy Dodger between my fingers and tear open another package wrapper. Jammy Dodger after Jammy Dodger. I rip my shirt and smash fistfuls of biscuit into my skin, mash our mangled hearts together and rub that dirty lactose on my limbs and through my hair until there's crumbs in my tears and the fucking shelf is bare. And I collapse to a floor smeared red and sticky as morning shoppers pass by, pushing the wheels of trolleys and prams through her name, written in jam.
Make some noise for Gray Crosbie! And closing out this round, the second round, our final poet, make some noise for Polly B!
This is a wee ode to long-term love. I'm seeing stars because of you tonight. My old shoe that fits around me just right, accommodating all my lumps and bumps. Oh, God, that sounds dreadful. I'm not saying you're an old shoe, but you are a perfect pair of pants, washed just the right amount of times. There's elastic in you yet, but you don't dig in like new drawers often do. Oh, you're going to be offended, aren't you? I can't say you're like pants. What are you like? You're like my side of the sofa. Cushioned. Perfectly contoured to my... Nope, that's worse. I can hear it just as I say it. I don't know how to describe you. old things are often the best. Not that I'm saying you're old, but old things that know your lines and your ways and jumble along next to you in life, keeping you company. These things just don't get enough credit. So you're not sore toe, new shoe tight. You're not knicker elastic pick line belly belts. Nor are you an overstuffed new sofa cushion bumful. You are well worn. You're comfy. And I'm seeing stars because of you tonight. Thank you.
That brings the second round to a close. Wow, another absolutely stellar lineup of poets. This is why I don't judge poetry slams. I would much rather scream at you people than have to pick between all of that. That's insane. Guys, thank you so much to everyone from round 1 and round 2. You guys are amazing. This is stellar stuff. I do just want to point out that our last competitor, Polly B, she is hosting the Word open mic, right, on the 25th at the Rig Arts Tobacco Warehouse. Boom! Plug successfully done. It's 4 p.m., right? Talk to Polly if you're looking to sign up, get more details. Please do go and support that. Continue to support the spoken word scene right here. It means a lot, I know, to someone like Polly who's been plugging away, trying to make sure that sort of stuff is happening. I know Katharine was doing loads of good work. I know there are a lot of voices here who want to see more opportunities come out to this part of the world and more stuff going on. So please, geese a poem. I can do a poem. I can do a poem while we're dotting up some maths. Oh, please, don't appeal to my ego. Jack, do you want to join me? Give it up for Jack Hinks, everybody! Cool. What is that? Now I need to pick a poem to do. Jack, I will go for, it's unrequited one word. Fucking professional poet. Unrequited love. Oh. Yeah, those are my 3 words. Yeah. This is one of the first poems I wrote because all poets should write sad love poems when they start. That's the way to get your way in. This is called I Want. My voice is broken. I lost my voice all week I didn't speak for 3 days because I knew this weekend was coming up. Apologies. I want to be a mountain so you and I can stand side by side and make valleys together. I want to be the East Coast of America so you can be the West. And when separation puts our love to the test, a nation will build railroads for us. I want to be the sun, so you can be the moon, and when we align, the whole world will look up, but it'll be so dark, only we can see what we're doing. I want to be Adam and Eve, before the shame of fig leaves, so we can be the first to experience kiss, and touch, and love, and lust. I want to be Batman, so you can be Wonder Woman and we can make fun of Aquaman together. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I want you. And I want you to want me too. I want to swim in your eyes, not because they're blue, but because they have unexplored depths, and I want to dive to the bottom of you. I want you to be my sober first kiss. I want you to make up for all the drunken ones I've missed, because I honestly can't think of a drink I want to taste more than your lips. I want to be every blade of grass. So when at last the sun begins to rise, I know you'll be holding me like morning dew. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I want you. And I want you to know, I don't say this with ease. I was ready to swear off love for good until you swept in like an ocean breeze and blew my line in the sand. Back into beach again. And I've wanted to tell you this 1,000,000 times before. Instead, I write love poems, and I don't want to have to write them anymore. Thanks, everybody. My glamorous assistant, Mark Galley. Cool. But yes, please do go and check out the open mic. Do continue to support the scene. Like I said, mailing lists, all that stuff. Do the jazz. Everyone judge Katie as she runs across to give the. She's going to run back as well, so you'll get a second chance. Don't you worry. Do you want to know who's through at the final? Okay. Performing in this order, our final three are Gray Crosbie, Gordon Powrie, and Angie Strachan. Those are your three finalists, Gray, then Gordon, then Angie, and then after they are done, we'll do some math. I'll come up and I'll announce who the runner-up is and who the winner is. They're going to be accompanied by the beautiful Jack Hinks. Guys, when you come up, give him 3 words, and we'll see what happens, I guess. Are you ready for the final round? Then keep that noise going. Build up, get that energy as we welcome to the stage, Gray Crosbie!
Still smaller than you think, Kev. 3 words. Decisions, uncertainty, and boobs. But not like funny boobs, like sad boobs. Because I feel like there's a difference. Sad boobs. It's hyphenated. Oh. My favourite corner of the internet is Instagram #TopSurgery. A gallery of post-op topless trans men selfies. I love especially the ones where the subject doesn't look at the camera, but instead down to where they can't help but trace their scars. Souvenirs of long journeys. Faces wearing a look of wonder as though asking, have I finally arrived here? I am a trans masculine person. Sometimes I too want top surgery. Chest binders, if you've never worn one, are pretty fucking shit. The euphoria is top notch, but I hate that it comes at the cost of backache and half-full lungs. I hate that I never bother to build muscles because I think it's no fun if I can't show them off. I hate how 2 swells can spoil an otherwise perfect outfit. I hate the swimming pools I don't visit. I hate that I hate summer now. I hate that no matter how many times I smash like on those #TopSurgery selfies, the jealousy doesn't ease. I hate that deep down, I know, I genuinely believe that surgical risks like skin necrosis and infection are preferable complications to a stranger in the men's toilets noticing my chest. In all of this, the thing I don't actually hate are my breasts. In the mirror, from another person's perspective, yes, but not from where I see them. There's been times even where I've caught them at a certain angle, wearing shadows just right, seen far too small and entirely too big, and strangely, perfectly me. And I imagine them lopped off, lying where they're dropped in a medical waste bin, despite the lost connection, nerve endings still firing wild signals, screaming, something's not right, do you feel this? I hate that it seems easiest to cut apart my body rather than break my idea of a man mold I know I shouldn't want to fit but I do. And I think that just around the corner, there could be a future where we cut up gender templates and not people, and all nipples can be sun-kissed and free. But maybe there's not, just like there wasn't around the last corner or the corner before that, and maybe I should just stop hesitating before it's too late and I become one with the backache and the half-full lungs, settle into self-hate, never try out muscles, even just for fun, miss a lifetime of summer swimming and never get my own #top surgery selfie, where I look down in wonder, touch my own scar souvenirs, ask, did I finally arrive here?
Great Crosbie, everybody! Please keep that love going as we welcome back to the stage, Gordon Powrie!
You folks are so lovely. I'm going to do one without jokes. Can we go with love, loss, and addiction? Can we do that? Okay. Addiction is one of those things that touches everybody. So this is about love, about loss, and about addiction. And if there's one thing I want you to remember from tonight, is that the opposite of addiction is not sobriety; it's connection. Brother, I'm sick of this skin that I've been living in. Cannot see a future now without alcohol and lithium, and my liver's giving in again and my kidneys cannot cope. I can't begin my life again because they say I have no hope, but I'm not asking for a rescue. You can't save my skin and bones. The only thing you can do for me is don't let me die alone. Will you keep the cover off the well? Will you look at me no more? I know I have no way out, and I know you know the score. Will you stand upon the precipice, and will you spend a little time? I see you have that rope with you. Could you pass me down that wine? Only time will tell if you can help yourself from falling in. I know that I shouldn't ask of you, but I'm sick inside my skin. Will you wait for me? Will you pray for me? Will you leave me not alone? Because I see clearly in this darkness that I'm never coming home. This disc of light is shrinking as I look up from this hole. I'm trying to keep myself alive, but I have no control. I'm sinking in addiction, self-poison and self-pity, and I cannot reach his kingdom with a stain upon my soul. But I'm not asking for a rescue. You can't save my skin and bones. The only thing I ask of you is don't let me die alone, because, brother, I am sick of this skin that I'm living in. I cannot see a future for me without alcohol and lithium, and now my liver's giving in again and my kidneys cannot cope and they can't begin my life again because I have no hope. But I'm not asking for a rescue. You can't save my skin and bones. The only thing I ask of you is don't let me die alone.
Give some love to Gordon Powrie. Powerful stuff, powerful stuff. We have reached our final poet of the Loud Poets West Slam. Please go absolutely wild for Angie Strachan.
Story, stain, and sea. For my ancestors, Catherine Duncan Pearce and Margaret Duncan Wright, and their stories that I can only imagine. Cathy, Irvine Beach, 1891. I passed the stain, frae horn to horn, my fingers numb thrawn, I ache to know the sea that shaped it. Where my een, it's cloudy blue-grey, my body is hardy, my curves is rune. I put it to my lug as if it was a shell to hear a story, yet nothing to tell. And o'er the waves and wind, Paddy's milestone grinned as if he knew 100 tales for here to wherever. I asked my mother, do you think this yin would make a good chucky stain? Do you think I could throw it frae here to the Ailes of Craig? Do you think if the waves would break, they'd bring it back home? Do you think Paddy would keep it as yin his ain? My mother had a tongue that would sour the milk, but the salt sea air softened her word share pages. She said, my dear wee wean, yon island is made of the stain that drap for the Calius giant horns. It glistens like the grains of sun, glimmers like moonbeams in the ocean. And marine to the horizon, she tell't me tales of witches, selkies and wandering whales, how fairies broch loasted Scottish souls back to the shores they were born in. I turned my taste for the water, passed the stain to my mother, whinged at my feet, nipped with my thick shin. She said, lift your drookit skirt so the water doesn't get in. And then she tied my scarf nippet about my chin and said, you can't write with a stain, but remembers all the stories that it's tell. She clasped the stain pearl into my clam-shaped horns and she said, you keep it, Cathy. You can pass it on.
Guys, can we just get a huge round of applause for all of our slammers this evening? Absolutely amazing job. That is, wow, just what an incredible slam. It is genuinely why, a lot of people, they kind of look at slams and go, oh, does it need to be competitive, things like that. I think the structure of slams, the way it kind of incentivizes people to sign up who maybe wouldn't normally, the range of voices that you get at a poetry slam, the amount of subjects, the different tones, it's, for me, what makes spoken word the best art form. I love spoken word so much because you go to other things and comedy, for example, is much larger scene than the spoken word scene, but they're only ever trying to elicit one reaction. Whereas you come to a spoken word slam, and 1 minute you're howling laughing, the next you are crying. It is a genuinely beautiful thing to see that level of emotion expressed, that range of stories, that depth of voice and experience is just one of the most powerful things you can do. Like, this is an absolute joy for me to do. We could not have kicked off this season with a better slam. So honestly, thank you guys so much, the poets. Stunning work. We have so much more to come this year. I really hope that you have enjoyed this evening. I hope that it's maybe encouraged you to follow the rest of this slam season. If it has, like I said, that my beautiful assistant Mark Galley is filming the whole evening. We will be editing and putting that out before we get to next month's slam in Dumfries. It will be free on YouTube to watch, and then all the subsequent ones will be as well. I hope that you follow the slam season along. I hope you support whoever your champion and runner-up are, and check out the competition for them. And when we get to August, if you can, if you're maybe going to be around anyway, do look out for it. Come to the Book Fest. Come and root for your champ to go and win it. It would be amazing to see, the breadth of the Scottish scene represented at the Bookfest at the final. It would mean a great deal to us and what we're trying to achieve this year in linking up the Scottish spoken word scene. So yeah, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for coming along. Thank you for supporting. If you want to get more information where you can follow all that stuff, we have all of the social medias. You can jump on the YouTube. We are hosting a monthly writing group on our Patreons, £10 a month. If you sign up, you get access to the writing group and a bunch of other stuff. After last year and touring around, we just did our first writing group, and we had people from Dundee, Aberdeen, Dumfries, Glasgow, and Edinburgh all in the writing group, which was amazing. We would love to add Inverclyde, too many cities. We would love to add Inverclyde. We would love to add Inverness when we get up there. So yeah, come and chat to us, see how you can stay in touch, all of that good stuff. Cool. Yeah. Many underlines of what I'm supposed to understand. Cool. So yeah, like I said, I will announce the runner-up and then the winner. Both of them qualify for the final in August. But whoever that is, know that everyone did amazing. It's a tough thing for Slam. Cool. Our runner-up is the wonderful Angie Strachan. And our winner and Loud Poets West Slam champion, Great Crosbie! Great. Do you want to do a victory lap one? Do you want to do a victory lap poem? You got it in you? Yeah. Give it up for Great Crosbie!
I'm going to do another trans one because it's a really shit time right now for trans people. So I'm just going to pour the trans content at you. Sometimes I need a haircut. It's really that simple. But simplicity seems to jump out the window when I head out the door into our society, which has a limited capacity for people who don't fit the norm. And we're normally offered female or male. Mark the box with a tick, please make yourself fit. But I'm more that other, if that is even an option. Like I'm something on the outside, existing beside the world as it rolls by, all pink and blue. In our society, entirely divisible by two into women and man. But I relate most to that ampersand. And I need a haircut. So option one is the salon, that womanly world of perfumed femininity with which I feel like I have little affinity. Or option two is the barbers, which isn't always much better since these swells in my chest and my missing inches make me feel like an infiltrator. But barbers or salon, when I get to the chair, before we can even touch on my hair, there's this question which hangs there unuttered and awkward, then made all the more awkward when they say, I know this is a bit awkward, but... And through the mirror, they ask if I'm a boy or a girl. Am I trans? Am I gay? And I don't know what to say. Sometimes I pick my labels to make other people feel okay. But it's never enough to say where I'd like to be trimmed or shaved. They need to know my sex. How else can they charge the appropriate rate? I'm sure you've seen the signs. Gents trim £5, women's trim 9. It doesn't matter how I define anyway when the hair on our head's charged by what's between our legs. And as usual, there always seems to be a higher price to pay for those who are female. And I know that the majority of people do feel safe in this divide. But think of the possibilities if we trimmed a bit of our prejudices. And I know in the past few years things have been changing, and that is amazing. There's drag queens on TV, out queer celebrities, hormones and surgeries. But still too often, there's some of us standing, clutching our bladders, stuck trying to decipher which bathroom door symbol we better resemble based on what we are wearing or how brave we are feeling. There's day-to-day struggles people quietly battle, like finding a way to wear your own skin while navigating a world in which we don't always fit in. We are queer and we are here, and life can be tough out there. So do you have to make a fuss, or could you just cut our fucking hair? Thanks so much.
Give it up for your Loud Poets West Slam champion, Great Crosbie! Can I just get a huge round of applause for all of our wonderful judges? For our beautiful musician, Mr. Jack Hinks. For our phenomenal sacrificial poet, Bogdan Piazetsky. And for all of the staff here at the Beacon, thank you so much for making us feel so welcome. This has been Loud Poets. You guys have been fucking amazing. We will see you next time. Good night! Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we'd appreciate it if you could hit the like button, if you could hit the subscribe button, and make sure to ring that bell icon so you don't miss any updates from us in the future. If you want to go that extra mile and support us a little further, we do have a Patreon channel with loads of exclusive goodies, and you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. We appreciate your help, guys, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.